A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olives, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The eternal light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Theological Seminary of America. Today's program, Walt Whitman and I, was written by Virginia Meza and is presented as a commemoration of the 100th anniversary of the publication of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass.
Come in.
I'm sorry to disturb you, sir, but this boy, we caught him stealing. I wasn't stealing, I tell you.
What weren't you stealing?
A book, sir. I was...
A book? Oh, that's interesting. What book?
Here it is, sir, a book on botany. Leaves of Grass. It's not a botany book, sir.
I know.
It's poetry.
I know. I happen to be an admirer of Walt Whitman myself.
You're not going to let him get away with this, sir. If everybody who comes into Wanamaker's store helped themselves to the book...
I'll handle this, Mr. Casey. You may go.
As you say, sir, but stealing is stealing. I don't know what the world...
He's right, you know.
But I didn't steal it. Not exactly. I was bringing it back when he caught me.
I see. Can we put it this way? You were the victim of an irresistible temptation?
Yes, sir.
I'll put you to a test. If you are the ardent admirer of Whitman that you claim to be, then quote me something.
That's easy. This one is my favorite right now. It's called, Give Me the Splendid Silent Sun. Give me the splendid silent sun with all his beams full dazzling.
Give me juicy autumnal fruit, ripe and red from the orchard.
Give me a field where the unmowed grass grows. Give me an arbor. Give me the trellised grape.
The year was 1896. The place was Wanamaker's department store in New York City, and I was the boy to whom it happened. Last night I read something in the paper that brought it all back, an item about Wanamaker's closing its New York branch. A curious sadness overtook me. All these years, a part of myself, a young and dauntless self, has resided within those granite walls. I go to my bookshelves. Yes, there it is. The yellowed copy of Leaves of Grass that I took from Wanamaker's nearly 60 years ago. The book falls open at the familiar place.
Give me the splendid silent sun with all his beams full dazzling.
Give me the splendid silent sun. I'm an old man now, and the Wanamakers I knew has vanished. But the words spark the old flame. I'm a boy again with a boy's aching grasp after the indefinable. I'm 16. I work 12 hours a day in a sweatshop. I glue red, white, and blue cotton flags onto wooden sticks. There are no windows in the factory. Everywhere is this sickening, all-pervading odor of fish glue. 150 flags an hour. 12 times 150. 1,800 flags. So, I measure off my days.
Schweinehund! What do you call yourself doing? Let go of my ear. The whistle blew. I'm getting ready to go home.
How many times do I tell you? In this factory, we don't go by no whistle. We go by my watch. Back to work, all of you. Schweinehund, Lausbuch, verfluchter Hund.
Like the other immigrants pouring into America in those years, we had come to the new world to escape the sorrows of the old. So far, I had seen no essential difference. If the old world had had its oppressors, so did the new in the shape of Mr. Myers, my boss. What was democracy to me? A red, white, and blue flag on a wooden stick. Walt Whitman was to enlighten me. But without Zelig, there would have been no Walt Whitman.
Hello. Hello. I'm Zelig. I'm Mars. Good. You look like an intelligent sort. Let's talk. You're new. You don't know old Myers. If he catches anybody talking... Everything in life is a risk. Why do you work in this grubby place anyway? I've gotten into a bad habit. Eating. Why do you? With me, it's merely a means to an end. By day, I am a sticker boy. By night, I pursue my real goal. What is that? I'm a theological student. No, you don't say. Don't let it oppress you. Well, I'm surprised, that's all. My mother's uncle was a rabbi. He did nothing but study and pray all day long. Back in Russia, it was. Well, this is America. I must say I can't see anything so wonderful about America. But getting back to my uncle, he was a very holy man. I've no doubt. I gather you think that holiness is inconsistent with a sweatshop. Well, you stay here a while. For one thing, it smells. You're wrong. It stinks. But that's immaterial. Why should I wish to see God better than this day? Huh? I see something of God each hour of the 24 and each moment then. In the faces of men and women I see God, and in my own face in the glass. I find letters from God dropped in the street, and every one is signed by God's name. And I leave them where they are, for I know that wheresoever I go, others will punctually come forever and ever. Say that again and say it slow. I never heard anybody talk like that before. You idiot. That's not me talking. It's Walt Whitman. Well, who's he? Do you mean to tell me you've never heard of Walt Whitman?
Schweinehund, what do you think you are doing?
Who is he? Quiet, here comes old Myers. I don't care about Myers. Who is Walt Whitman? I have said that the soul is not more than the body, and I have said that the body is not more than the soul, and nothing, not God, is greater to one than oneself is. And whoever walks a furlong without sympathy walks to his own funeral dressed in a shroud, and I or you, pocketless of a dime, may purchase the pick of the earth.
I was 16, a sticker boy in a smelly sweatshop, an immigrant, poor, despised, inarticulate, a nameless face in the crowd. But Walt Whitman gave me an identity.
And there is no trade or employment, but the young man following it may become a hero. And there is no object so soft, but it makes a hub for the wheeled universe. And I say to any man or woman, let your soul stand cool and composed before 1,000,000 universes.
In the world I lived in, one did not own books. My friend Zelig had borrowed a copy of Leaves of Grass from the public library and painstakingly copied out his favorites. I would do likewise.
I'm sorry, I can't let you take this book.
I can't take it. Why? Why can't I?
Walt Whitman isn't considered suitable for children.
Well, I'm not a child. I'm 16.
16? You don't look it.
But I am. I'll bring my mother. She'll tell you.
I'm sorry. You'll be much better off not reading this kind of thing. Now or ever. It'll only unsettle you. What about a nice boy's book? Something like Tom Brown's School Days?
A child said, "What is grass?" fetching it to me with full hands. How could I answer the child? I do not know what it is any more than he. I guess it must be the flag of my disposition, out of hopeful green stuff woven. Or I guess it is the handkerchief of the Lord, a scented gift and remembrance designedly dropped, bearing the owner's name somewhere in the corners, that we may see and remark and say, "Who?" Night after night now I stay in our tenement kitchen, making my copy of Leaves of Grass from Zielik's copy.
Are you still up? You better come to bed now, Morris.
In a little while, Mama.
The fire burned out.
I know it.
You'll freeze to death.
No, I won't. Give me the splendid silent sun. Give me the splendid silent sun. With all his beams full dazzling.
Give me the splendid silent sun. I was intoxicated, afire with my own power. I knew that all was written to me, and I must get what the writing meant. I knew I was deathless. My orbit could not be swept by a carpenter's compass. I knew the Spirit of God was the brother of my own, and that all the men ever born were also my brothers, and the women my sisters and lovers. The sweatshop lost its stench. The threat of old Myers, my boss, diminished. I took the poems to work with me and kept them hidden under a pile of flags, snatching secret glances at them when old Myers wasn't looking. It was tempting fate.
Schweineund! What do you think you are doing?
Why, nothing here, Myers.
That's right, nothing. Here, I got a big order, 5,000 flags for the Grover Cleveland parade, and you sit doing nothing? I'll teach you.
Don't you hit me.
Put that ruler down. It's got a brass head.
Stop it. Stop it. Let me alone.
Do you want to kill him? That'll teach you who is the boss. Now back to work. All of you. Schweinehund, Lausburg.
What does he think this is? The old country? Tomorrow I will go with you and repay this Cossack with interest.
No, you won't, Mama.
Yeah.
I'm not a baby. I can take care of old Myers myself. Can't I, Zielik?
Take my advice. He's got his eye on you now. Leave Walt Whitman at home.
I will not.
That's right. Don't cut out to him.
He caught me unaware. Tomorrow I'll be ready for him. If he comes near me, I shall pick up whatever I can find and knock him cold.
What do you say to that, Zielik?
Could I have another cup of tea, Mrs. Stern? You're evading. No! You want an easy answer. Well, there isn't one. Nothing is black or white, yes or no. Look, suppose you do knock Herr Myers cold. He comes to or he doesn't. If he doesn't come to, you are arrested. If he does come to, he fires you. Let him fire me.
Yes, nothing.
$6 a week is not to be sneezed at.
Oh, you are talking from your stomach. What about justice?
Very well. We will consider the case from its moral philosophic point of view. Consider the history of mankind.
I don't care about mankind. What about my son, Morris?
Give me an instance where violence hasn't begotten more violence. Do you expect by knocking Herr Myers cold to purge the evil out of his soul?
You talk very smart, Zielik. Now, you answer me this. Did Moses or didn't he strike the Egyptian overseer?
He did indeed. Then why do you say I shouldn't hit old Myers? I don't say you shouldn't. I'm merely trying to point out the moral consequences of an act of violence. You're being inconsistent. Morality is always inconsistent with an immoral world. Hit Herr Myers if you must, Morris. But remember, you will not have won the argument. Justice will not prevail. No. The only enemy we can hope to persuade, to our point of view, is a live enemy. Now, May I have my tea, Mrs. Stern? I believe a leaf of grass is no less than the journey work of the stars, and the pismire is equally perfect, and a grain of sand, and the egg of a wren. And the running blackberry would adorn the parlors of heaven, and the narrowest hinge in my hand puts to scorn all machinery, and the cow, crunching with depressed head, surpasses any statue, and a mouse is miracle enough to stagger sextillions of infidels.
I think you'd better put your poems away. Old Myers is on a rampage this morning.
I'm ready for him.
How many times do I have to tell you I need 5,000 flags for the Grover Cleveland parade? Get busy! Stop sitting on your hands! Work! Schweinehund! What do you think you are doing?
Working, Herr Myers.
Then what are these papers you got here?
Don't you touch my poems. Put them down.
Trash! I'll teach you to read poetry in my shop.
Give me back my poems.
Never! Into the fire they go, like this!
You dog. You dirty, low-down dog. I'll pay you back for this.
I'll show you who is the boss in this factory. I am going to give you such a beating.
Oh, no, you're not. Never again. I'm warning you, don't come near me.
Myers, put down that paperweight.
Do you think I'm afraid of you? You louseboot!
Watch out here, Myers. Stand back. Get some water.
Selig, is he breathing?
No, thanks to you. And I hope you're satisfied.
I didn't know he would bleed so much.
Better clear out of here fast, my friend.
Selig, he's not going to die, is he?
Morris, stop pacing up and down. Sit down. Go to bed. Read a book. Do anything.
Suppose he dies, Mama.
You can say self-defense. He was coming at you with that ruler.
I never thought he would bleed so much.
Bring down the room. It might be the police.
I'll face them.
Do as I tell you. I'm coming. Zelig. Oh,
Good evening, Mrs. Stern.
what do you mean by scaring me out of my way? Morris, come out. It's Zelig.
Selig.
Is he dead? Fortunately for both of you, no. 5 minutes after you left, he began to come to. He was up on his feet in another 5 minutes.
Oh, thank God.
He refused the doctor, so we bandaged his head with the stars and stripes. And by mid-afternoon, he felt strong enough to give one of the sticker boys a beating.
So I didn't teach him a lesson.
Did you think you would?
Anyway, Morris had his satisfaction.
But I'm out of a job.
All that howling New York winter, I pounded the pavements looking for work. A nameless face in the crowd. My beloved poems were gone, and with them, my identity. Late one afternoon, more to get out of the cold than anything else, I stepped into Wanamaker's store. Blind instinct led me to the book counter.
Did you wish to purchase a book?
No. No, thanks. I'm just looking.
Oh.
Wait a minute, miss.
Yes?
Do you... I wonder if you have a copy of Leaves of Grass.
Leaves of Grass? Yes, we have it.
Could I see it?
I suppose so. It's right here under the counter. I'll get it for you. Here it is. But be careful. It's very expensive.
How much does it cost?
$3.75.
$3.75.
Do be careful with it. Yes, madam. What can I do for you?
Give me the splendid silent sun. Tears came into my eyes at the lines. Why should I be denied everything? Why not just take it and walk out?
Pardon me. Are you finished with the book? This lady would like to buy it.
I was saved, but salvation produced no ecstasy. With sinking heart, I watched the book being wrapped, watched the lady depart. I will never know what made me follow her. At the haberdashery counter, she stopped, selected a half-dozen ties, paid for them with a crackling $10 bill, paid for them and departed, leaving the book on the counter.
Lady, you left something.
In a daze, I watched her disappear through the big front doors to be swallowed up in the snow outside. I turned back. There it was, my book, discreetly wrapped, waiting for me to pick it up. Surely God must intend for me to have it. The clerk was busy down the counter. I snatched it up, hid it under my coat, and made for the door.
Molly, stop! Haven't you got a conscience? Mama, Selig, listen to me. Stealing from a store is not like stealing from a person. A store has no heart. A store can't suffer. Besides, a store is insured.
Shoddy excuses. Can't you think of any better ones?
Of course I can. The book is rightfully mine, Selig.
Why?
Because I appreciate it. That woman, she's fat, indolent, stupid. What is Walt Whitman to her? He wrote it for me.
Talk. Rationalizations. The ends never justify the means. You know that.
You're narrow-minded. A prig.
Be quiet. Listen to him. He warned you about Herr Meyer. You almost committed murder. And here you go again.
Stealing is not murder.
Thou shalt not steal. It's one of the commandments.
Keep quiet, both of you. I'll take it back. Now are you satisfied? Miss, this book.
Yes, what about it? Why, that's the copy of Leaves of Grass I sold not 15 minutes ago. Where'd you find it?
I found it.
Found it? He did nothing of the sort. He took it from the haberdashery counter. I've been hunting for him up and down. Now, you come with me.
Imagine a young boy like that stealing a book.
I didn't steal it. I was bringing it back.
A likely story. Come along now.
Where are you taking me?
Upstairs, the manager's office. He'll make short shrift of you.
So this is what happened. You were the victim of a sudden, irresistible impulse, but in the end your better nature prevailed. You were returning the book when apprehended by the vigilant Mr. Casey. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Before quitting you, I'm going to put you to a test.
Yes, sir.
If you are the ardent admirer of Walt Whitman that you claim to be, then surely you must have committed some of his poems to memory.
Oh, I have.
Then give me a stanza or two.
I guess this is my favorite right now. It's called, Give Me the Splendid Silent Sun. Give me the splendid silent sun, with all his beams full dazzling.
Give me juicy autumnal fruit, ripe and red from the orchard.
Give me a field where the unmowed grass grows. Give me an arbor. Give me the trellised grape.
That's enough. The defense may rest. I think you've acquitted yourself.
You mean I can go?
One moment. The book. I'd like to write something in it. Then you may take it with you.
Me? Take it? But the lady who bought it.
The store will see that she gets another copy. I'd like this one to be yours.
It happened almost 60 years ago. I'm an old man now, and Wanamaker's New York store is no more. I go to my bookshelves. There it is. The yellowed copies of Leaves of Grass with the remembered inscription.
I cannot give you the splendid silent sun you so ardently desire, but perhaps you will accept this gift from one admirer of Walt Whitman to another.
Give me the splendid silent sun. The words can still spark the old flame. I'm a boy again with a boy's aching grasp after the unreachable. I'm a boy walking home from Wanamaker's in the snow. A boy walking home under halos of swirling city lights.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York, 27, New York. And now we take pleasure in presenting Mr. Irving M. Engel of New York City, prominent civic leader and president of the American Jewish Committee. Mr. Engel.
Listening to this amusing and touching story of an immigrant boy and his love for the poetry of Walt Whitman, I thought of the countless newcomers who have become better acquainted with America through our literature. through the words of the great thinkers who have so eloquently depicted our dreams and aspirations. Among those who have sung the vision that is America, Whitman was perhaps the most inspired. Just 100 years ago, his Leaves of Grass was first published. There, with passionate eloquence, the poet set forth his love for this land and its people. For to Walt Whitman, America was people, all kinds of people, living, working, building together. And today, as free men brace themselves to resist the menace of communism with its utter contempt for human rights, Americans are reaffirming their belief in the values that Walt Whitman upheld above all, the dignity and worth of the individual. The sum of all reverence I add up in you, whoever you are, he said. The President is there in the White House for you. It is not you who are here for him. The secretaries act in their bureaus for you, not you for them. The Congress convenes every 12th month for you. Laws, courts, the forming of states, the charters of cities, the going and coming of commerce and mails are all for you. Today we are moving ever closer to Whitman's dream of true democracy. Step by step we are overcoming racial and religious discrimination. We can see this dramatic progress on all sides. In the armed forces, for example, where the color bar is breaking down. In our nation's capital, where segregation in public facilities is ending. And in our public schools, where the historic Supreme Court decision will unite all America's children instead of keeping them apart. Such great advances would have thrilled and delighted Walt Whitman, for to him the brotherhood of man was a very personal thing. He said, "Whoever degrades another degrades me, and whatever is done or said returns at last to me. I will accept nothing which all cannot have their counterpart of on the same terms." Those words are from Walt Whitman's Song of Myself. May we soon see the day when they become the creed of all men everywhere.
Thank you, Mr. Engel. Our Eternal Light drama today, Walt Whitman and I, was written by Virginia Mazer and was presented in commemoration of the 100th anniversary of the publication of Leaves of Grass. Today's program was based on a story by Maurice Stern in the New Yorker magazine. Cantor David Futterman sang the liturgical introduction. Featured in the cast were Norman Rose, Jack Orrison, Edwin Bruce, David Anderson, Mary Lou Forster, Nina Hansen, Theo Getz. Your narrator was Edwin Jerome. This is Mel Brandt. The music was written by Morris Momorsky and conducted by Roy Shield. This has been an NBC Radio Network production, directed by Daniel Sutter. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America.
This is the NBC Radio Network.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation, and it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The Eternal Light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's program, A Light Against the Dark, was written by Marion Voigt.
This is the story of a great light and a little light, both lights lit by man. When the great light flashed for the first time, the lives of those who lived were different forever after. The little light had no such sudden flare. It grew slowly and blinded none, and it would take many, many such lights to equal the glow of the great one. But it, too, changed lives. The day of the great light, all the world was at war. But when war has been going on quite a while, people learn to carry on their lives in spite of it. Mothers prepare breakfast, send husbands off to work, get children ready for school.
There, the all clear. Now may I go to school, Mother?
The all clear and no raid after all.
No raid. The alert was just for the weather plane. Please, Mother, may I go now? If I don't go soon, I'll be late.
A raid is coming. A terrible raid, I feel it. Mrs. Matsuo says so, too. We've been spared too long.
Mother, this week I'm monitor for my class. If I'm late, one of the other girls will go with the others for the chalk and erasers in the storeroom.
Never mind. The all clear has sounded. I can't keep you always at home. Go, child.
Thank you, Mother. Goodbye.
But never mind the chalk and erasers if the warning sounds again, Michiko. Just hurry. Hurry to the nearest shelter.
But this was something mothers had been saying so long now. The words cast no shadow on the day. The streets were bright and busy this sunshiny morning, and at school the girls laughed and chattered as they always did.
Machiko, could you work the third problem? The third one? Oh, that was easy, Ashido. Shall I come show you?
Not now, Michiko. It's time to get the supplies from the storeroom. Come along.
Later, Ashido. I'll show you later. Here I am, Toyoko. Hurry now. All the other monitors are already down there. Did you get all your lessons, Toyoko?
Not all. There were so many warnings last night, and Mother always gets so frightened by a warning.
Oh, I know. Mine, too. She's sure a terrible raid is coming. But it never does.
Maybe it never will. Maybe we're lucky here in Hiroshima.
Maybe so. Maybe.
A great light, flashing for an instant, and then the end of the world. Everything splitting, exploding, collapsing in darkness, in terror, blind, dark terror.
Mission accomplished. One bomb of the new type dropped on Hiroshima at 8:15 a.m. Explosion satisfactory, flash followed by smoke clouds and concussion.
A great light. And then, after the crashing tumult of sound, silence. The silence of utter finality. Only here and there in the incredible waste, something stirs, something whimpers, something lives.
Toyoko? Mr. Kitty. Help. Toyoko? Where are you? Where? Oh.
Michiko, help. My legs.
Toyoko, I'll try to pull you out. Here.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Oh, forgive me, Toyoko.
It's all right. Try again now.
Michiko! Toyoko, my arm. It hurts so. And my face burned somehow. I want my mother.
Michiko, just help me now. And we'll find someone. The teachers. They'll fix your arm and everything. Just help me get out from under all this.
They'll help us get home, Toyoko?
Of course.
careful again, Chico. I won't scream this time.
Slowly, so slowly, one wounded child helping the other, they stumble and crawl through the wreckage that was the school cellar, till they reach a spot where they can see about them as they lift their heads.
Such a funny light. Chico, look! Everything's smashed. All the houses, the trees, everything. Toyoko, where's my house? It should be right over there. But it isn't. My house is gone, too. We'll find someone. Toyoko, all those people lying in the street. Are they... Toyoko, where's my mother? We'll find somebody to help us. We'll find somebody. Where? Toyoko, where?
One great light, one great explosion, and in the darkness that follows, the whole stunned world cries out its horrified questions. Where? What happened? How? Half a world away, the facts flood forth now. All the facts so carefully guarded for so long.
The bomb which was dropped on Hiroshima is an entirely new type, an atomic bomb, which harnesses the basic power of the universe, energy.
Hundreds of scientists pooled their knowledge. Refugees from Germany, scientists from Denmark, Italy, England, as well as our own. Billions of dollars have gone into laboratory and production plants to create this bomb. Thousands of workers employed.
Half a world away, the facts poured forth. Energy, locked in the atom since the beginning of time, has been unlocked by the energy of man. And it means
the start of a new era, the atomic era.
The end of the war. It can only be a matter of days now. No nation can stand long under the sort of destruction which fell on Hiroshima. Half the city leveled, half its population killed.
Yes, in Hiroshima, city of 245,000, 100,000 lie dead, and another 100,000 are injured. And now as the smoky dust settles, the fires begin, sweeping the city from end to end. And after the fires, the rain. Under a twisted piece of iron, 2 wounded children huddle, 2 little maids from school.
Chico, don't. My face is burning so. No, mine too. I can't understand. We got away from the fire. We crawled away as soon as it started near the school. Toyoko, where is my mother? Where is she? Where's mine? My father and brothers. We must go look some more. We must. But Chico, no. Lie back. We can't. You can't. Just have to wait. But what if nobody ever comes? Help! Look! Over there near the road. The girl crawling. Toyoko! Hideko! Only her face. Her face. Wait, Hideko! Wait! I'll come help you. It's all right, Hideko. I'm coming.
So now there are 3 wounded children under the canopy of twisted iron. 3 little maids from school, spared death because they were sheltered in the cellar when the bomb burst. There are others, spared the same way, still lying under the wreckage, or working their way painfully in other directions toward the hope of help. 15, 20, 25 little maids from school, bodies broken and burned, families dead, homes gone. And most of those who could have helped, dead or injured themselves. Help? It was a long time coming. Half a world away, the news is good.
The war is over. Japan surrenders.
Yes, the bomb had brought an end at last, to 4 years of death, and the Allied nations rejoiced. There were other voices, too.
We must do everything in our power to see that this new force is used for peaceful and productive purposes in the future. Never again must it be used as a weapon of destruction.
And even as statesmen formed committee and commission for study, reconstruction, and control, men and women of goodwill banded together to do what they could as individuals to heal the wounds of Hiroshima.
Hundreds of children were orphaned by the blast. And so a plan was devised whereby American men and women could assume responsibility for the support and education of these children under a system of moral adoption.
The Saturday Review, through its editor, initiated this program, which was operated by the Hiroshima Peace Center Associates. 400 Americans ultimately joined with this plan, giving the hope of a brighter future to as many little boys and girls in far-off Hiroshima.
But the little girls from school, not being orphans, are not among this number. Scattered at first, finding help and shelter where they can, it is only gradually they all come together again, under the protection of an American-educated Japanese minister, himself a survivor of the blast, the Reverend Mr. Kiyoshi Tanimoto. His church becomes their haven, and it is there that various Americans visiting Hiroshima hear of their particular plight. Saturday Review editor Norman Cousins is on his 4th visit to Hiroshima, accompanied this time by Mrs. Cousins, when the first glimmer of a new light begins to shine for them.
You ask about the maidens, Mr. Cousins. I think I can truthfully say there is progress.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear it, Mr. Tanimoto.
The maidens. Oh, you mean the little girls who were trapped in that school?
That's right, Mrs. Cousins. Somehow we have all come to speak of them as the maidens, but they are no longer little girls, you know. Time has passed and they are almost young ladies. Young ladies of an age when most girls are marrying.
Oh, the way you say that, Mr. Tanimoto.
Well, this is one thing that will never be possible for them, I fear. They were also disfigured by the burns.
Oh, no.
For a long time, they dreaded to walk on the streets in public. They wanted only to hide. But this is all better now. They are gaining in confidence. They even go to the movies now, and gradually, I find jobs they can handle.
That should help.
It does. It is the best of all for them to feel they are self-supporting. Just today... Excuse me. Toyoko, is that you?
Yes, it is I, Mr. Tanimoto. Did you wish something?
Oh, is anything wrong, child? I thought you were working today at the new job.
She said I was too slow with my stitching. Too slow.
Too slow. But she told me, she promised me it would not matter.
I guess I was slower than you thought. My hands... I'm sorry, Mr. Tanimoto. So sorry.
But, Toyoko... I am sorry, too. I said there was progress. But it is so little, really, so very little.
She said her hands... Were they burned, Mr. Tanimoto?
Yes, badly burned. But one of the most terrible things about those burns, Mrs. Cousins, is the contractions that come later, tightening the skin so that the muscles have trouble in functioning.
But there must be something that can be done. There must be. There's surgery for that kind of thing, isn't there? Plastic surgery, corrective surgery?
Oh, of course there is. Has any been tried at all?
A few maidens were given some treatment by some of our doctors here, and it helped. It helped a great deal.
A few. Then why not all, Mr. Tanimoto? Is it money?
Money, of course, but that's not all. Our doctors are overburdened already. They have some of the latest techniques, but not all.
But there are doctors back home who have all the techniques that will help them, aren't there, Norman? And there's plastic surgery now, and that would help with the facial scars, too.
And Mr. Tanimoto, my wife is right. There are many surgeons in the United States who could surely help these girls. What I'm wondering now is if there aren't also foundations which might be, well, willing to underwrite a project to make that help available. It'd be a big project, but still...
Mr. Cousins, it sounds almost as if you were suggesting something that has been my greatest dream so long now.
Taking the maidens to the United States for the kind of surgery that would really give them a chance at a normal life? Yes, why not, Norman? Why not?
Well, it isn't a simple project. It couldn't be. And I wouldn't want to raise any hopes until we could be sure, but... Perhaps you and your people wouldn't object to any efforts we might make to see if it were possible, Mr. Tanimoto.
Object? Mr. Cousins, I cannot tell you what it would mean to these girls.
Oh, they will do it. We'll do
Well,
it.
not so fast, Ellen. It'd be cruel to promise till we know what the difficulties are. But we'll try, Mr. Tanimoto. And please don't say anything about it to the girls until you hear from us.
And so it is the word of the Hiroshima maidens travels half a world away. Travels to New York City, where Mr. Cousins and his wife find sympathy in many hearts for the tragic situation of the girls. But finding the way to actually bring them all to America isn't so simple.
The answer is no again.
Oh, no, it can't be. It'd be a perfect project for that foundation.
The directors don't think so. There's nothing in their charter that provides for a project like this.
Oh, what's the matter with their imagination? What's the point of foundations having all this money if they turn their backs on something as important as this? Oh, this is the worst yet.
Worse than the foundation that turned us down on the off chance that one of the girls might not respond to treatment? Worse than the people who argued that if we can't help all the victims of the atom bomb, we shouldn't help any? All I know is I'm beginning to wonder if there is a way. Anywhere.
Just keep talking to people, Norman. Keep talking.
And then finally, among the people Mr. Cousins spoke to, was his friend and physician, Dr. William Hitzig, once a poor boy on New York's Lower East Side, now a successful doctor, associated with a great hospital in New York called Mount Sinai. Dr. Hitzig had more than sympathy to offer.
I know just the surgeon for the job, Norman.
Yes?
Barsky, Arthur J. Barsky. He worked in reconstructive surgery during the war, and he's one of the best plastic surgeons in the country now. He's a fine staff under him.
He sounds fine, Bill. But how could we hope for the services of someone like that?
He's associated with Mount Sinai. I'll talk to him. And what's more, I'll venture a prediction. He'll be for this thing as strongly as I am once he hears the story.
You really think so, Bill? I keep remembering any kind of surgery that will help the girls is bound to require a series of operations that will last over the course of a year, perhaps.
And if I know Barsky, that won't stop him.
But then how about bed and care in the hospital during all that time?
Let's talk to the board of trustees of Mount Sinai. Talk to Dr. Steinberg. He's the director.
You think Mount Sinai itself might furnish the bed and care?
We can ask. Now, even so, it wouldn't solve all the problems. The girl wouldn't be in the hospital all the time, you know, all of them. Now, there would have to be periods of healing and recuperation between operations.
Requiring outside homes for them, board and room.
That's right. And then, what have you worked out in the way of transportation for the girls from Japan here to New York and back again?
We're still working on that. One of our moral adoption parents, Janet Tobit, is trying to enlist Japanese help.
Well, let's hope for the best on that. Meanwhile, if Barsky and Mount Sinai are with us, we'll all be set to get the girls on their way.
Bill, I've got a hunch we can carry this thing out. But, let me put something to you. Why are you willing to plunge yourself into what may be weeks and months of talk and persuasion and effort?
Well, why yourself? Why have you been working on this ever since you got back from Hiroshima the last time?
All right, Bill. You win. I promise not to ask you if you don't ask me. I guess we both know why we're doing this. No point in discussing the bomb and the decision to drop it or whether we should or shouldn't feel guilty. There are 25 human beings who need the kind of help we're in a position to give, and that's that.
Yes, I see what you mean. And I guess that says it for me, too. Took a lot of people working together to create that bomb that did all the damage. And I like to think people can work together in peacetime, too, and do the impossible. Now, all kinds of people joining together to work for reconstruction instead of destruction. And I think they will, too, Norman.
Bed care at the hospital while under surgery.
Mount Sinai Hospital agrees to furnish all hospital facilities and bed care to the maidens free of charge for the duration of their requirements.
The surgery itself.
Dr. Arthur J. Barsky will serve as chief surgeon, assisted by members of his staff.
The transportation.
The transportation problem is, presenting difficulties.
Oh, no, Norman, no. There must be a way. We can't let the whole project be halted on that.
Well, I've spoken to everyone I know here. I've written to everyone I can think of in Japan. There's just one more hope. Janet Tobit, she's been the head of the Girl Scout Association over there. She's been in touch with some prominent Japanese trying to enlist their help.
Janet Tobit is in touch with George Togasaki, president of the Nippon Times, the English newspaper in Tokyo. He may have a suggestion.
Is there any news yet? Anything new, Norman?
Yes, at last. Danamoto writes he's spoken to General Hill in charge of the Air Force there.
And?
The United States Air Force offers to fly the maidens from Hiroshima and back again through its military air transport service. They'll make every arrangement to see that it's easy and comfortable for the girls.
The little light grows stronger and stronger as one person after another joins his energy to the project. Dr. Barsky and Dr. Hitzig fly to Japan to examine the girls and prepare them for the trip to America.
And now, homes for all of them while they're not in the hospital, thanks to the New York Friends Center. The Quakers are eager to do their part, and they've arranged for the maidens to be boarded throughout the year in a number of Quaker and non-Quaker homes around New York.
10 years ago, a great light flashed. A light that changed the face of the world and wrought untold destruction.
Hundreds of scientists pooled their knowledge to create the atom bomb. Refugees from Germany, Danish, Italian, English, and American scientists worked night and day.
Today, men and women from as many different races and creeds pool their efforts. Americans with a dozen national backgrounds all work together on a mission of healing. It is being brought to a climax in Mount Sinai Hospital, a member of the Federation of Jewish Philanthropies of New York. May 9th, 1955. A military air transport service plane lands at Mitchell Field on Long Island. 25 Hiroshima maidens walk down the ramp toward a new light, a light also lit by the energies of man.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage and handling to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. And now we take great pleasure in presenting Judge A. David Benjamin, Justice of the Supreme Court of New York. Judge Benjamin.
Today's story dramatizes a terrible ideological confusion of our era. The destruction of Hiroshima was a fateful instance of the horror of strife and conflict, resulting from greed, hate, and willfulness. The victims, as usual, were the innocent. 250,000 men, women, and children, citizens of this once lovely city in Japan. All over the world, hot and cold conflicts of this character are still raging, with a constant threat of even more devastating destruction, since scientists have brought into being weapons of ever-increasing and more frightening potency. In this poisonous atmosphere, however, there still contend for survival forces of tenderness, love, and understanding, which ultimately reached out to rehabilitate the shattered lives of these 25 unfortunate children of Japan. This love finds its inspiration in the precepts of the religious philosophy, common to Jew and Christian alike, best defined by one great word: civilization. In accepting moral responsibility to aid the stricken victims, a great Jewish hospital in the city of New York, the Christian Order of the Society of Friends, and the government of the United States itself put into practice those ethical values of brotherly love taught in churches, temples, and synagogues throughout the civilized world. The only real hope for the achievement and a just and sane society lies in the common acceptance of these basic spiritual concepts as actual living values and living standards. A world which will accept the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of man as a way of life will find no place
for violence, hate, and destruction. So let the day speedily come when men resident in all the four corners of this earth will extend to their brethren everywhere the calm, warm embrace of the ancient greeting of our people. Shalom, peace on earth to all mankind.
Thank you, Judge Benjamin. Our Eternal Light drama today, Light Against the Dark, was written by Marion Voigt. Cantor Robert Siegel sang the liturgical introduction. Featured in the cast were Pamela Fitzmaurice, Marion Carr, Ellen Spencer, Denise Alexander, Ed Peck, Ralph Camargo, Roger DeKoven, Nelson Olmsted, Helene Dumas, and Raymond Edward Johnson. The narrator was Norman Rose. This is Mel Brandt. The music was written by Morris Momorsky and conducted by Roy Shield. This has been an NBC Radio Network production, directed by Daniel Sutter. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America.
This is the NBC Radio Network.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The Eternal Light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's program, Einstein, was written by Joseph Mendel.
In a world torn by war, twisted by lies and hate and suffering, there was a man who walked serenely all the years of his life.
I live in that solitude which is painful in youth, but delicious in the years of maturity. It is enough for me to contemplate the mystery of life, perpetuating itself through all eternity, to reflect upon the marvelous structure of the universe, to pause in wonder and stand rapt in awe.
Without bitterness, with compassion and a hint of amused understanding, he saw humanity, and looked upon the stars, and went his way shaping the universe in his head.
To know that what is impenetrable to us really exists, manifesting itself as the highest wisdom and the most radiant beauty. This fills me with a humble admiration of the superior spirit who reveals himself in the slight details we are able to perceive with our frail and feeble minds. This forms my idea of God.
All the days of his life he sought understanding. When he was old with wisdom and tired, he paused again to wonder. His name was Albert Einstein.
The most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible.
Once it happened, as it often did, that a man came to him and said,
Dr. Einstein, is it possible for an ordinary person to understand your theory of relativity?
Well, with study and some effort, it is possible.
Well, perhaps you'd be good enough to explain it to me.
It is possible, I say, but not essential to happiness.
Still, I would like to understand.
You really want to know?
I would like very much to hear your explanation, in a few simple sentences.
I see. Well, if you will permit me, I will tell you a little story.
And Einstein told of two men who were walking in the country on a hot summer day. One turned to his companion, who was blind, and said,
I could do with a drink of milk.
Milk? Drink, I know. But what is milk?
Milk is a white liquid.
Liquid, I know. But my eyes... What is white?
The color of a swan's feathers.
Feathers, I know. But what is a swan?
A swan is a bird with a crooked neck.
Neck, I know. What is crooked?
I'll show you. Hold your arm out. There. Now that is straight. Now I bend your arm at the elbow, like this. That is crooked.
Ah, I see. Now I know what you mean by milk.
With eyes that cannot see as deep or as far, we may nevertheless seek to distinguish the crooked from the straight. Failing to grasp the universe, we may seek to comprehend a man's life. It is not given to all men to comprehend, nor does understanding come all at once to any man. There was a time when Einstein did not speak in quotations, a time in 1905 when he was 26 years old and worked as an examiner in the Swiss Patent Office, congenial work under a tolerant director.
What's this, Einstein? What's this?
Oh, you are waving it about so, Herr Director. Oh, yes, the current issue of Annalen der Physik.
Exactly, and what do I find in this Annalen der Physik? 3 articles by a certain Albert Einstein. 3?
I didn't think they would print them all.
Congratulations, Einstein. Only... you mustn't think that you fooled me. That is not entirely...
I assure you, Herr Director.
How you sat scribbling at your desk, how often I had to call you twice before you heard me. We know what you were doing, don't we?
I have always done the work I was assigned.
Of course you have, but completely quite the contrary. I will regret your leaving.
I have no intention of leaving.
Oh, now, it does not become a contributor to Annalen der Physik, that is to say a scientist, to work as a clerk in the patent office.
But I find the work pleasant and the pay is enough for what I need.
That is beside the point. Einstein, you must become a Herr Doctor Professor in some university.
Why?
Why? Because... what a question.
Will it help me to do the work I want to do? I don't see how. All I need is a paper and a pencil. Why should I be a professor?
Now listen to me. A man who has written such brilliant articles... They are brilliant, aren't they?
You have read them, Herr Director.
I'm no expert. I will tell you frankly, I am of two minds. Either what you have written is sheer nonsense, or else, my dear Einstein, you are a genius.
The year 1905. 3 articles in one issue of a journal of physics. One on the photoelectric effect developing the quantum theory of the atom, another on the movement of molecules, and the third, the theory of relativity. In the next issue of the same journal, there was another article by Einstein, a very short one, showing that matter and energy are interrelated, and stating a simple formula, E equals mc squared. There were scientists who proclaimed with a great deal of heat that Einstein wrote sheer nonsense. But there were more who saw in his views a startling new understanding of the universe, from the infinitesimal atom to the infinity of the stars. He was beginning to be noticed.
We want you at the University of Zurich, Herr Einstein.
You are very kind, Herr Professor.
Kindness has nothing to do with it. Now, you understand that no one can be appointed professor unless he has first been a Privatdozent, a lecturer.
Yes, I know. I'm giving a course of lectures now.
Indeed. Einstein, I was present at the one you gave yesterday.
Were you?
Didn't you see me?
No. I must have been thinking of something else.
Obviously. It was nevertheless remarkable that you should not see me, considering that I counted no more than 5 students in attendance.
Well, my lectures are not very popular.
Einstein, your lectures are not well prepared.
I suppose not. My work is in such a state now. I have so little time.
Oh, work. It's foolish to jeopardize your future because of your duties at the patent office.
Oh, I didn't mean that, Herr Professor, but there are so many new ideas, discoveries, every hour, every minute, when I sit at my desk, when I walk, Herr Professor, even when I lecture.
That is precisely the trouble. A lecturer is not required to have new ideas or make discoveries.
I was afraid I would not make a good Privatdozent.
Believe me, I tell you this for your own good. Your whole academic career may well depend on this lecturing that you treat so lightly.
It's too bad.
Einstein, you're a man of unusual talent. It should not be difficult for you to understand that this is how one goes about becoming a professor.
I do understand.
I'm happy to hear it.
Only you must realize that I do not insist on being a professor.
Nevertheless, they insisted, and he became a professor at Zurich, then at Prague, and finally in Berlin, but in his own way, with a casual air toward things the world considered important. Einstein's words reached only a few at first, and then none at all. His quiet voice was lost in the eruption of the First World War, when the shouts of battle were matched by the cries of horror and indignation at Germany's invasion of neutral Belgium, at the new concept of treaties as scraps of paper. Was this the same Germany, Western Europe asked, that produced Goethe and Bach and Beethoven?
It is the same. You will not succeed in dividing us on the home front.
Solitary and aloof, Einstein continued his work in Berlin, but the world's anger followed him into his study.
You have an obligation to take a stand, Professor Einstein.
My dear doctor, I am always on the side of the angels.
Then you will sign our manifesto.
Well, the difficulty is to know where they stand.
I'm not here to hold an amusing conversation with you. And Professor Einstein, 92 of your colleagues, intellectuals, leaders in the arts and in science, have issued a statement to the world saying there is only one Germany. German culture and German militarism are identical. You will sign right here.
How many did you say?
With you, 93.
I'm afraid you will have to be content with 92.
Germany's fighting for her existence. You have a patriotic duty to join in our manifesto.
Patriotism is a matter of definition, Herr Doctor. If you will excuse me, I'm rather busy. Herr Doctor,
Your position does not surprise me in the least, Professor Einstein.
Why should it? I have made no secret of my opinion.
It is what one would expect of your kind.
Oh, that's a curious expression. My kind? You mean intellectual science?
You know what I mean.
Or perhaps you are referring to the fact that I'm a pacifist.
That too does not surprise me.
Even when I was a child, Herr Doctor, I had a great dislike for playing soldier. My colleagues, as you call them, find no distinction between their culture and militarism.
Not your colleagues any longer.
I will tell you what I think of militarism.
And I do not care to hear.
Nevertheless, you will listen. The man who enjoys marching in line to the sound of drums falls below my contempt. He received his brain by mistake. The spinal cord would have been amply sufficient. This heroism at command, this senseless violence, this bombast of patriotism. Oh, how I despise them.
You make your philosophy very clear.
My pacifism is an instinct feeling. A feeling that the murder of men is horrible and evil. You see, it's not a philosophy at all.
At such a time to talk as you do comes close to treason. I've heard enough of your Talmudic subtlety.
Ah, yes. Finally. Herr Doctor, before the war you called me a German and the rest of the world called me a Jewish scientist. Now, I am a German to them and to you, a Jew. No doubt it will turn around again. My dear Herr Doctor, what people call me, what people think of me, does not disturb me in the least. What is the essence of Jewishness? I see it in two things. The democratic ideal of social justice and tolerance among all men, and the high regard for every form of intellectual aspiration and spiritual effort.
Love of freedom and search for truth. Were they not the essence of his life? The end of the war coincided with an experiment during an eclipse of the sun that verified predictions Einstein had made in his theory of relativity. Suddenly he was famous, not only among scientists, but among ordinary people all over the world. He was invited to visit many countries, and he traveled as a peaceful ambassador of the new German Republic, and was received everywhere.
Welcome to America, Professor Einstein.
Professor Einstein, what are your views in the League of Nations?
What do you think of American women, Professor? Gentlemen, one at a time, please.
Well, is it true, Professor, that only 12 people in the world understand the theory of relativity?
I have never made such a statement.
No, but it's true.
Even to ask the question is not very complimentary to the physicists of your country or of the whole world.
Oh, I see what you mean. Professor, all those people on the dock, hundreds of them are waiting to greet you. Can you explain such an enthusiastic reception?
Well, in New York, I am told there is a new style every year. Perhaps this year the fashion is relativity.
I know you're a modest man, Professor Einstein, but would you care to describe your feelings at this reception?
I am naturally pleased that so many people wish me well. My modesty, however, is not tried.
No?
You see, I have only to remember that a victorious boxer or tennis player is received with still greater enthusiasm. Of what is significant in one's own existence, one is hardly aware. And it certainly shouldn't bother the other fellow. What does a fish know about the water in which he swims all his life? The bitter and the sweet come from outside. The heart from within, from one's own efforts. For the most part, I do the thing which my own nature drives me to do. Well, it's embarrassing to earn so much respect and love for it. Arrows of hate have been shot at me, too.
Einstein is a fraud, and his theory is a mass of contradictions.
But they never hit me. The hate never touched me.
He is exposed as a disgrace to science and to the German nation. He does not dare to answer the charge.
Of what use is it to answer as if these were arguments about science? The fact is that I am a Jew and a pacifist and a Zionist. That is what you don't like.
That was what many people did not like. It did not keep the Nobel Prize from him, but it was not awarded until 1922, many years after his work was established. And the prize committee found a careful and ingenious device for keeping out of controversy.
The prize is awarded to Einstein for the photoelectric law and his work in the field of theoretical physics.
Not for relativity theory, but for his discoveries in the quantum theory of the atom. And at once, the arrows of hate flew again.
It is disgraceful that the Nobel Committee should attempt to bolster Einstein's dwindling reputation by lending its prestige to a man of his type.
The essential in the being of a man of my type lies precisely in what he thinks and how he thinks. not in what he does or suffers.
You are not thinking of leaving Germany, Professor Einstein.
Well, would it be so amazing a decision?
Well, those people, they do not speak for all Germans.
I know.
You're respected. You have friends here, place to work.
Yes. My situation is like that of a man who is lying in a beautiful, soft bed, where he's being bitten by bed bugs.
That is a small price to pay.
Oh, I'm not complaining. Only, my friend, the bugs get stronger. In 10 years, they may be full grown.
Einstein was wrong by a year or two. It was not until January 1933 that President Hindenburg appointed Adolf Hitler as the new Chancellor of the German Reich. The long night was beginning. Einstein was in Belgium a little later that year when a delegation of young people came to him, representatives of the pacifist youth movement.
Dr. Einstein, people say that we are wrong.
Is that the trouble, what people say?
Military preparedness is growing in Belgium. Some of us will soon be called up for service. Dr. Einstein, we need you to help us stand firm as pacifists.
Oh, you know what you want me to say. Well, then you don't need me at all.
I don't understand.
You are not asking my opinion. You want me to confirm what you already believe.
Is it not what you also believe?
Now you are asking. And I will tell you. In this year, in these circumstances, a person should fight in any way he can for the freedom of his country. I've shocked you, huh?
I remember your words in the statement of the War Resisters International. I appeal to all men and women, you said, whether they be eminent or humble, to declare that they will refuse to give any further assistance to war or the preparation of war. Your own words, Dr. Einstein, in 1931, only 2 years ago.
Yes, I remember them. Since then, Hitler and the Nazis are in power.
What if they are? Does that make war any the less horrible?
If Hitler wins the conflict that is inevitable, the peace of slavery will be more horrible than war.
But pacifism is bigger than one case, one set of circumstances. It is a broad, universal principle.
My young friend, the world is not pure. Sometimes principles conflict with facts.
How is a person to live if not by principles?
Do you have time? Then let me talk about myself for a little minute. I have always opposed nationalism of any kind.
Doctor, we are not talking...
I know. Please be patient. I have been against nationalism, yet I am a Zionist. I favor the establishment of a Jewish state. A new nationalism, perhaps. Why? Because I look at the lives of Jews in Europe, and the facts tell me that only in such a new state can Jews live in a way that will permit self-expression and self-respect.
Dr. Einstein, you... Well, excuse me for saying it, but you are inconsistent.
Well, that's an old complaint about me.
And principles are of no importance.
I have not said that. What I am saying is, to hold a principle that has a beautiful sound but leads to consequences that are bad, there lies the great danger.
It was a time of danger for the whole world. For Einstein, Germany was no longer a place where he could live and work. In the same year, in 1933, there was organized in Princeton, New Jersey, the Institute for Advanced Study.
You will have no teaching duties, Dr. Einstein, aside from occasional seminars. You will work as you please.
It is good of you to invite me.
Any university would be honored. You will come.
Well, there's one thing.
Yes?
I have been told that I must be practical. The salary must be... that is, I will need no less than $3,000 on which to live. If that seems exorbitant, please don't hesitate to tell me.
Dr. Einstein, perhaps you will allow me to arrange the financial details with your wife.
Yes, that would be the best.
You see, Dr. Einstein, the salary we had in mind was
Several times 3,000.
From 1933 on, Einstein worked at the Institute and lived in Princeton. He became a citizen of the United States. He made new friends, many new friends. Yet, he was alone.
I've never belonged wholeheartedly to country or state, to my circles of friends, or even to my own family. Such isolation is sometimes bitter, but I do not regret being cut off from the understanding and sympathy of other men.
When he walked in the streets of Princeton, people stopped to greet him.
Good morning, Dr. Einstein.
Softly, as if what was important was not his answer, but the moment's contact with him. And if awe and reverence were in their voices, who will say there were not also sympathy and love?
I lose something by this isolation in which I live. But I'm also rendered independent of the customs and prejudices of others, and am not tempted to rest my peace of mind on such shiftless foundations.
He walked with peace of mind, his long white hair blowing, wearing a sweater and slacks that needed pressing. And people grew accustomed to seeing him in the streets, but never to the presence of greatness. They grew accustomed to hearing the violin from his house in Mercer Street as he played Bach or a Mozart sonata to refresh himself before returning to work. In the summer of 1945, he took a vacation from work at Saranac Lake in New York. On August 6th, toward the evening, he returned from a day on the lake to find a visitor.
You don't know me, Dr. Einstein. I have a place about a mile down the road.
Oh, then we are practically neighbors, huh?
I hope you don't mind my intruding like this.
Oh, excuse me, you have a match?
Match? Oh, yes, of course.
Thank you. My pipe is out. It's a strange thing. With all the wonders we perform nowadays, no one has succeeded in making a pipe that will stay lit.
Dr. Einstein, have you seen the newspaper?
I am on vacation, young man.
Then I'll leave you mine.
You are very mysterious. What is it?
It has to do with your work.
If I read all the foolishness that is written about me, but I have published no new work recently.
This is old. 40 years old. E equals MC squared.
So they have done it. They have taken a mathematical formula and made it into...
Yes. The first atomic bomb was exploded today.
The world is not ready.
It may be that the world will never be ready. For Einstein stood alone and apart, being able to look upon himself and other men and smile a little, and then turn to the stars, seeking to understand. And if others only dimly see what he knew, it may be because understanding flows from a faith that comes before.
God is subtle, but he's not malicious.
In a world torn by war, twisted by lies and hate and suffering, Albert Einstein walked serenely all the days of his life. In April 1955, the age of 76, he closed his eyes and died in his sleep.
The most incomprehensible thing about the world is that it is comprehensible.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address
with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. Our Eternal Light drama today, Einstein, was written by Joseph Mendel. Cantor Robert Siegel sang the liturgical introduction. Featured in the cast were Roger DeKoven, Louis Van Ruten, Leon Janney, Jay Barney, Sam Gray, Peter Capell. Einstein was played by Theo Getz. Your narrator was Norman Rose. This is Mel Brandt. The music was written by Morris Momorsky and conducted by Roy Shield. This has been an NBC Radio Network production directed by Daniel Sutter. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This is the NBC Radio Network.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The Eternal Light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's program, Operation Hebrew, was written by Mark Siegel.
J-K-L-M-N-O-P, L-M-N-O-P, Q-R-S-T, U-V-W-X-Y-Z, A-B-C-D-E-F-G.
The little girl next door is beginning a process we all recognize as important, the process of becoming literate. Pretty soon, perhaps, she'll be reading.
Up, dog, up. Jump, dog, jump.
There's a large controversy at the moment about the way she learns to read, or when and how.
Down, dog, down. Sit, dog, sit.
But there's complete agreement on the importance of her being able to read, to know and understand the language. Her mother, in fact, is quite proud of her.
The dog jumped up. The dog jumped down. Down, dog, down. Up, dog, up.
Her mother is proud and happy, because language is the beginning of knowledge, and knowledge is the key to understanding. And once you have understanding, well, anything can happen. You might even marry a man who one day will become President of the United States. At least 5,000 miles away from the little girl next door, there is a small country which has become, in the past 7 years, almost a single gigantic classroom. The country is Israel, and tens of thousands of its citizens are also engaged in the process of becoming literate in the language of the country, Hebrew.
Boker, 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 va. Boker, va, boker, va, boker, Boker ba la boda, boker ba la boda, boker boker ba, boker.
Like the little girl next door, they sing to learn the language.
Boker, boker ba, boker ba la boda, boker ba la boda, boker ba la boda, boker ba.
The basic process is the same, but there are several differences between these students and the little girl next door.
Boker ba, boker ba la boda, boker ba la boda.
The difference is not in the intensity of the students, it's not in their concentration or in their earnestness as they learn to form the words of an unfamiliar language. The major difference is in age. Most of these students have children of their own. Many have grandchildren the age of the little girl next door.
Boker ba, boker, 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 boker ba.
This is the story of a unique experiment in a unique land. The story of Operation Hebrew, a nationwide effort in Israel to retain men, women, and children of all ages in a common language, the revitalized ancient tongue of Hebrew. Just how complicated a job that is in Israel becomes apparent almost immediately, even to a tourist. You walk down a street in Tel Aviv. Your mission? To get some shirts washed by next Tuesday.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom. Excuse me, do you speak English?
English? No. Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Oh, no, I'm afraid I don't speak German.
Romanian?
No, not Romanian either. You don't speak French by any chance?
Français?
Yes, French.
Ah, mais oui, je parle français un petit peu. Qu'est-ce que vous voulez, monsieur?
Oh, well, just to get my shirts washed. Oh, I see you're from France.
France? No, monsieur. Greece. Parlez-vous le grec?
It's an amusing story to tell when you return to the United States. The story of the Israeli from Greece with whom you conversed in French. But the implications of the story are many.
We take a quiet pride in the fact that in the course of an average day, upwards of 60 different languages are spoken in conversation.
Yes, I can understand that.
We also feel a quiet desperation in that fact. It's estimated that only half the population is completely literate in Hebrew. About 200,000 have no working basis in the language at all.
How often do we consider the importance of common language? In the United States, not too frequently. In Israel, it is a matter of moment-by-moment importance.
Order, please. Order. Let us have order in the courtroom. Now, let us proceed. Does the defendant admit to the charge?
He does, Your Honor.
Can't he speak for himself, Attorney?
Not in Hebrew, Your Honor. His native language is Persian.
But he admits assaulting the plaintiff?
Not the plaintiff, Your Honor. The plaintiff's donkey.
The plaintiff's donkey?
Yes, but there are mitigating circumstances.
Mitigating circumstances for whipping another man's donkey? I fail to understand.
My client says another donkey cart was coming and the plaintiff wouldn't move.
Did he ask the plaintiff to move?
Certainly not, Your Honor.
What's that?
My client says he doesn't speak the language, and the plaintiff wouldn't understand if he did. My client says, what else was there to do except push the plaintiff's donkey off the road?
The language problem in the first years following the establishment of the Jewish state in 1948 was as tangible a roadblock to Israel's future as any neighbor's donkey.
In 1948, our population numbered 600,000. Most of us could speak Hebrew.
In the 4 years following, 700,000 newcomers sought haven in Israel.
Country of origin?
Poland.
Country of origin?
Romania.
Country of origin?
Iraq.
Country of origin?
Hungary.
The tasks of existence, of survival, of development of the land were grave and difficult tasks. Tasks to challenge the best in men under any circumstances. Without a common language, they appeared insurmountable, and the great majority of newcomers could speak not one word of Hebrew.
That's not quite so.
How's that?
Most could speak a few words of Hebrew.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Almost all could say, Ani lo mevin. I don't understand.
The pioneering settlers of Palestine in the years preceding 1948 adopted the Hebrew language not owing to any compulsion or outside pressure. They followed the course of an inward necessity, turning almost intuitively to the ancient Hebrew language, the language of the Bible, the tongue of their forefathers. The language shaped itself to the new creative spirit of the country. Obsolete forms were discarded. In a single generation, bookish language, rhetorical and involved in style, transformed itself into a simple, living language, realistic and precise, with a name for every object and a suitable expression for every action. The problem in 1948 was no longer the language. It was how to teach it.
Gentlemen, we must absorb the new immigrants not only economically, but spiritually and culturally. For all practical purposes, that means at the very beginning, linguistically.
There were already schools, many schools for learning the language. But the learning process in these schools was slow, and the needs of the country in 1948 were for rapid learning, for widespread learning. To accomplish the job, three main avenues were opened for Operation Hebrew.
For the children, of course, intensive work in the schools.
I am in the room. The teacher is in the room. You are in the room. We are in the room. Couldn't we go outside and play?
For the young people, the available avenue of integration was the Army.
Men, our primary mission for today is to learn how to read a menu.
But for the older people, the thousands of immigrants from many lands, a new instrumentality was needed.
Many of these men and women coming to our shores can contribute greatly to the development of our country. Among them are engineers, doctors, teachers, lawyers, economists, technicians. We need them, and they need the language.
In the overall Operation Hebrew, some new avenue was needed. A new avenue and a new method. The Israelis found it. They called it
Ulpan.
Ulpan, literally a place to study.
Ulpan.
Actually, an accelerated language teaching method based on the needs of adults. Hebrew is a very dynamic language. In 1949, the word Ulpan was almost unknown. Today, in Israel, you're very likely to hear,
I'm Ulpaning tonight. Are you?
The first Ulpan was established for professionals. It was a 5-month full-time course with the students living in.
Since that time, many kinds of Ulpanim, that's the plural of Ulpan, have been established.
Among them,
the work Ulpan for younger people who work half a day and study half a day in agricultural settlements.
The popular Ulpan for immigrants who can give 20 hours a week to language study in the early evening hours after a day's work.
And the Ulpanit, the little Ulpan, designed for the bulk of new immigrants who can give but a few hours of their time for study in the evenings.
But in every Ulpan, the objectives are the same.
To teach the language as rapidly as possible. To help new immigrants learn the life of their new land.
In every Ulpan, certain principles of teaching are the same.
The foremost principle is that the language be taught without making use of regular translation into another language.
The methods of teaching vary, but in general, the most progressive schools follow a pattern brought to Israel 6 years ago by an American, Judah Shuval. Mr. Shuval learned of the pattern from his son. His son was studying Japanese. Where? In the United States Army. The basic methods of these schools are methods borrowed from American Army language teaching courses. How does an ulpan operate? Well, the simplest way to find out is to attend the first class of a newly formed ulpan. The teacher walks into the ulpan classroom. Seated before him are perhaps 25 students. Their origin, conglomerate. A few from Yemen, a few from Romania, one from Iraq, one from the United States. Perhaps 15 national origins are represented. Few preliminaries. The teacher points to himself.
Ani.
I. He points to a student.
Ata.
You.
Ani hamore.
I am the teacher.
Ani medaber ivrit.
Translation, I speak Hebrew. The statement is an understatement. He will speak nothing but Hebrew from this time on, and he will insist on Hebrew and nothing but Hebrew from his students.
Ha-luach.
The blackboard.
Hisei.
A chair.
Shulchan.
A table. The teacher makes an all-inclusive gesture.
Yachad.
Clearly meaning all together.
Ha-luach.
Ha-luach.
Hisei.
Hisei.
Shulchan.
Shulchan.
Otpam.
Once more.
Yachad.
All together.
Ha-luach. Ha-luach. Ha-luach.
Ha-luach. Ha-luach. Ha-luach.
Kisei. Kisei. Kisei.
Kisei. Kisei. Kisei.
Shulchan.
The process has begun. A process of constant repetition, of choral recitation, of learning to form the sounds of new words, and of using these words immediately. The student makes a direct connection between the sound of the word and its meaning. His own native language is not allowed to stand between the word and its meaning. The method makes rather unusual demands upon the teacher.
Carly. Carly.
I say, what's he saying now?
Oh, he's saying Carly.
Oh, I know that, old boy, but what do you suppose it means?
Oh, wait a minute. I'm not sure.
Carly. Brrr. Carly.
Oh, it must mean he's cold.
Yes, I believe you're right.
Carly. Brrr. Carly.
Yes, that's it. Now he's turning up his coat collar. He's saying, I'm cold. I say, old fellow, is this bloke a teacher or an actor?
The ulpan teacher must be a teacher, an actor, and often in the early weeks of the course, a defense attorney for his method.
Come in. Oh, shalom, Ludwig.
Shalom.
What can I do for you?
2 weeks I have waited. 2 weeks I have sat in my seat shouting, singing, mimicking.
Ludwig, learning a language is not an intellectual act. It's habit, drill.
The theory I understand. For others, perhaps it is good. For me, no. I am visual-minded. Yes, I must see the verbs to learn.
I understand what you mean, Ludwig.
You will give me the holes, the grammar. I will study them. I will learn. This way I learn nothing.
Ludwig,
that is the way I learned everything before, the way I studied at the university, the way I became a doctor. I ask you, please, to recommend me for a book.
Ludwig, the study of language is not the same as the study of medicine.
For others, perhaps no. For me, yes.
I know you're a scholar, but I would like to ask you a few questions, that is, before recommending a book.
Good, ask.
Your mother tongue is German, correct?
Correct.
How did you learn to speak it? From a book, by grammar, by rules?
No, of course not. I listened, I imitated, I spoke. But I was a child. Now I'm a grown man. It is not the same thing.
Ludwig, if you wish to make Hebrew your mother tongue, not just a second language, you must learn it the way you learned your mother tongue. I have the greatest respect for your intellectual achievements. They surpass my own by far. But for the next 4 months in this ulpan, I must respectfully ask you to act as if you were a child.
The students in the professional ulpan, in the language learning process, act as if they are children. But they are not children. They're doctors from Austria, businessmen from Boston. They're lawyers from Iraq, artists from France, school teachers from Holland, writers from England, and professors from Germany. They're also scientists, administrators, engineers, and accountants. But whatever their background, soon after the course begins, they ask a common question.
When do we learn to read?
And the teacher provides an answer.
Not yet.
2 weeks pass. The question is asked again.
Later.
Another week passes.
Now.
The teacher is not being perverse. He is following a pattern, the pattern of the active oral method.
First, understanding, then speaking, then reading, then writing, and finally, grammar.
Compare this with the conventional language teaching in, well, let's say the United States.
First reading, writing, and grammar, next speaking, and finally, perhaps, understanding.
Everything, as you can see, is backwards in an Ulpan. Everything, that is, but results. At least 125,000 men and women have learned the Hebrew language fluently and well in the Ulpan program in the past 4 years. At the end of the 5-month intensive training period in the professional Ulpan, students can speak freely in Hebrew, read printed matter like the daily paper fluently, write clearly and simply in an unaffected and direct style. More importantly, the students have learned to think in Hebrew, an accomplishment that expresses itself at many levels and in many areas of interest. The language of the heart is learned in the Ulpan too.
Shoshana.
Ken, Abraham.
Shoshana. Ani ohav otach.
Abraham. Gamani ohevet otcha.
The marriage will take place in June. The ability to think in Hebrew, important as it is to a declaration of love, is not quite enough for professionals in the Ulpan who require specific vocabularies for the pursuit of their careers. To meet this need, the Ulpan provides special, intensive 1-month courses for specific professions.
For accountants, special lessons in correspondence and accountancy terminology.
For lawyers, basic legal terms.
For doctors, medical vocabularies.
It's extraordinary, isn't it? 5 months ago, we started with words like blackboard, chair, and table. Now my students are dealing with words like sartan,
cancer,
atom,
the atom,
mishpat,
law,
bechirot,
elections.
And it's not just that they're learning the words either. I'm the first one to know that. My students, mind you, people who've sat in my class, my students are getting ready to run the country.
Some will run the country, and many will contribute to it, and all will share more fully by knowing the language, in the concept of what the Israelis call demokratia, the concept of democracy. And in this better citizenship, in this capacity to live more fully with their brothers, Ulpan's role is immeasurable. For the purpose of Ulpan, the purpose of Operation Hebrew altogether, is more than the technical learning of the language.
Ulpan is a doorway to integration.
My students do not learn only to speak.
They learn to speak to one another.
My students do not learn only words.
They learn the words of citizenship, of knowledge of the country, of Israel's history.
My students do not learn only to read.
They learn to read the literature and legends of an ancient people, their people. And as they draw from the well springs of an ancient faith, from the Bible itself, they enrich not only their own lives, but the spiritual life of all mankind. There is the land, and there is the people. And the medium which links them in rebirth is the language of Hebrew. The language in which Ezekiel contemplated the mysteries of regeneration and resurrected hope. The language in which Amos wrote the prophecies of social justice. The language in which Isaiah proclaimed the vision of universal peace.
ושבתי את שבות עמי ישראל, ולבנו ערים נשמות,
And I will bring back the exiles of my people Israel. And they shall build the waste cities and dwell therein. And they shall plant vineyards and drink their wine. And they shall lay out gardens and eat their fruit.
And I will plant them upon their own soil, and they shall not be uprooted any more out of their land which I have given unto them, saith the Lord thy God.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. And now we take great pleasure in presenting Mr. Samuel J. Borowski, Chairman of the World Hebrew Culture Federation and Honorary President of its American branch, the Histadrut Ivrit of America. Mr. Borowski.
We have just listened to a graphic and most absorbing description of Hebrew reborn. A many-tongued people restored to the land of their fathers are learning to master their ancient language to enable them to live a fuller life as citizens of the state of Israel and to link their destiny with the future of the state. The rebirth of the Hebrew language is not limited to Israel alone. It has reached considerable proportions in every country of the world, including our own. Nor are the people of the Jewish faith the only ones touched by the resurgence of the ancient tongue. Universities and public schools by the score are now teaching the language of the prophets, so that the rich storehouse of Hebrew literature can be made available in its original. This profound interest in Hebrew goes back to the very cradle of American life, with the Puritans who printed the first book of Psalms in this free land of ours in the original Hebrew. We have the World Hebrew Culture Federation, the Brit Ivrit Olamit, as we call it in Hebrew, and of its American branch, the Histadrut Ivrit of America, are dedicated to the revival of the Hebrew language to serve as a common bond between Jews who cherish the Jewish heritage and who may draw inspiration and guidance from original Hebrew sources. On August 7th, the World Hebrew Congress will meet in Jerusalem to develop plans and programs for the greater achievement of this goal. Yes, my friends, a living and flourishing Hebrew language, opening the well springs of our ancient faith, will enrich Jewish life and the spiritual life of all mankind, and will bring to the world the creativity of an ancient civilization, reborn and revitalized, taking in exchange the benefits of Western civilization and the goodwill and cooperation of Jewry everywhere.
Thank you, Mr. Borowski. Our Eternal Light drama today, Operation Hebrew, was written by Mark Siegel. Cantor Robert Siegel sang the liturgical introduction. Featured in the cast were David Gothard, Roger DeKoven, Pamela Fitzmaurice, William Keane, Ed Keane, Alan Bergman, Guy Rep, John Moore, Louis Van Ruten, and Ruth Last. Your narrator was Norman Rose. This is Mel Brandt. The music was written by Morris Momorsky and conducted by Roy Shield. This has been an NBC Radio Network production directed by Daniel Sutter. For the next 10 weeks, the Eternal Light will present a special summer series, Words We Live By, dialogues between two of America's distinguished men of letters, Maurice Samuel and Mark Van Doren. They will discuss the prophets of the Bible. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This is the NBC Radio Network.
And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The Eternal Light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's program, Hour of Forgiveness, was written by Joseph Mindell and is presented in observance of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement.
Softly. Speak the word softly, lest men should hear.
Eloheinu Elohe Avosenu, our God and God of our fathers, let our prayer come before thee. Hide not thyself from our supplication. For we are not arrogant and stiff-necked that we should say, O Lord our God, that we are righteous and have not sinned.
On the eve of Yom Kippur of the year 1943 in Poland, in a solitary place seen by no eye, the words are said to be heard by no ear. Softly, softly. Yet they must be heard. For if there is evil, shall there not also be atonement? Spring 1943. Not the beginning, but the beginning of the end. The ghetto of a Polish city. Vilna or Lodz or Bialystok are one of many, each with its ghetto, overflowing with violence and suffering. Yet for the moment, quiet. As the people in the small windowless cellar are quiet, talking not with the caution of the fugitive, but deliberately and with care, as people talk when they have come to the place from which there is no running away.
It is no longer possible to have illusions. We know what happened in Warsaw, in Bendon, everywhere. No one is left. We are the last.
It's not a particularly pleasant feeling to be the last.
We must decide what to do. We can wait, sitting together in the warmth of our memories, or else, when they come to take the first group to be deported, then we attack. We see to it that not one German leaves the ghetto alive. Now, this is what I think, but I don't want to impose my opinion. If anybody thinks we can remain alive, we ought to discuss it.
There are the woods outside the city. We can try to escape to the woods.
Joseph, there are 40,000 people in the ghetto. Can 40,000 escape? We mustn't look for new ways of fooling ourselves.
I'm older than most of you. Please understand, I don't mean to cloak my words with wisdom, but only to say that I have less to look forward to. I have lost everyone, those that were near to me. Yet I want to live.
So do I. So do all of us.
And then why shall we talk of fighting, of attack, which is sure death?
We are condemned whatever we do, Sarah.
It is better to remain alive than to kill 5 Nazis or 10 Nazis.
We are not given the choice. Certainly resistance in the ghetto won't save us, but neither will the woods. We can only choose how we will die, honorably or not.
I will do whatever is decided. Only there's no point in talking about honor and worrying about how we will be judged.
Honor is something. We are the last. They want to kill us, and we refuse to die. Let that be our honor.
I will ask an extreme question, Joseph. Do you propose that we should hide and do nothing when the Nazis come so that we can escape into the woods later?
No, of course not.
Then we are really in agreement. We resist as long as possible. And then we try to reach the woods. Is there something more that we should discuss?
What else is there to say? There was only one subject on the agenda. Death.
Achtung! Erste Gruppe, Achtung! Meine verdammte Juden! Achtung! Erste Gruppe!
Death came, and still they fought. When it was no longer possible to fight, a handful escaped to the woods, and death followed.
They're coming closer.
Be still.
Sarah. Chaim. Mordecai. Daughter. Where are you? Answer me. No one is left. I'm lost. Wait! Wait for me! Take me too! I don't want to be the last! No. I won't die. I will refuse to die.
His name was Joseph, a man of 50 with soft hands and a quiet voice. By the facts of the world in which he found himself, he should not have been alive, but he refused to die. He lived day after day, week after week, not knowing how, remembering only that it was necessary to live. He grew hard, and the hardness covered him like a mask, like the mindless face of a peasant.
You there. What's your name?
My name?
Your name. What are you called?
I'm called Joseph.
Well, what else? Are you like Joseph of the Bible?
No, like the Marshal, Joseph Pilsudski.
Ah, also ancient history. I want your full name. Who was your father?
My father?
Yes. What was your father's name?
My father's name?
Oh, never mind. Getting information from a peasant is worse than... Well, you say you want work, Joseph. What can you do?
Anything. Whatever you say.
You're skin and bone, and obviously a fool. No muscle, no brain.
I will work, Your Excellency.
Ah, that remains to be seen. I'll put you in the fields, Joseph, but listen carefully. No loafing. Whoever works for me earns a hard living.
It's better than not living.
Looking at you, Joseph, I'm tempted to ask why. But some things are beyond human understanding.
Yes, Your Excellency.
His Excellency, the District Commandant of Police, gave him work in the fields of his estate. And perhaps in the dark night, there was a secret, twisted smile on Joseph's lips. But not for long. There was time only for work and sleep. The days became one, Sabbath no different from the rest, and the festivals unnoted. Only weariness remained in the mind. And hunger, always hunger. For the Commandant did not pamper his peasants.
All right, Joseph, all right, here. Now, what are you waiting for? Roast duckling?
There's no meat on my plate.
I gave it to you the first time.
You spilled it. There it is on the ground.
You expect me to pick it up for you?
It's covered with filth. I'm not an animal.
Well, have it your way, Joseph. You can be a gentleman and go hungry.
I'm entitled to my share.
Every day, when I cook, I count. One peasant, one chunk of meat. There's your share on the ground.
Yeah, if he's so finicky, Oh! Kick me! That's my meat! Not anymore. I've got it. Mine to the table. Get him off me! He would have killed me. Look at him. There are tears in his eyes. He's crying.
Like a wild animal. God help me.
I beheld the earth, and lo, it was waste and void, and the heavens, and they had no light. I beheld the mountains, and lo, they trembled, and all the hills moved to and fro. I beheld, and lo, there was no man.
Herr Commandant, I came on business.
You Germans, there's time, Major. Enjoy your ride.
Your report has been received at headquarters. As we say it, Herr Commandant, in the tradition of the Gestapo, we mean pure, aseptic. Not a Jew left.
There's no need to be concerned. We know how to handle our Jews.
Of course. Nevertheless, it is necessary to be thorough.
Your Gestapo does not have to send someone to instruct me.
Only to suggest, Herr Commandant.
I am aware of the nature of the Gestapo's suggestions.
When they go into hiding, the Jews, it is not always easy to find them. Now, it has been our experience that...
Excuse me, Major. You there!
Me, Your Excellency?
You, Joseph, up on your feet.
I'm waiting for the hay wagon to come back.
Never mind that. No loafing when you work for me. Now, you were saying, Major?
I was about to suggest that your men be on the alert.
You were sent from Warsaw to tell me that?
This is a time when Jews are very likely to betray themselves.
Indeed.
Tomorrow is the most important holy day for Jews all over the world. Their Day of Atonement.
My dear Major, you may be sure that here in my district there is no one left to observe the Day of Atonement.
I thank you, O Lord of the universe, that you did not let me forget. Here, too, in this place, for me, too, it is Yom Kippur.
All over the world, in the services on the eve of the Day of Atonement, two members of the congregation rise and say the words,
By authority of the court on high, and by authority of the court on earth, with the knowledge of the all-present, and with the knowledge of this congregation, we give leave to pray with them that have transgressed.
And then the cantor sings Kol Nidre.
No.
in Poland in 1943. In a place surrounded by the dead, it was also Yom Kippur. In the barracks where the peasants slept, only Joseph was awake, and he too sang. He could have closed his eyes and tightened his lips in silence while the hardness grew inward from without, and the mask on his face became his face, and he would live.
No. It is only another kind of death. I will not die.
And therefore, in the long, dark room where men slept who must not be wakened, Joseph began the recital of the ancient words.
On this day shall atonement be made for you to cleanse you. From all your sins before the Lord shall ye be clean. Here, my friends. Here's some bread for you. Shh, not so loud. Go on, eat it. It's stale and hard, but I eat it. Not today. Today is Yom Kippur, and I will fast. Take the bread. Don't leave a crumb, or they'll become suspicious. Thank you, my friend. I only wish you could help me with my soup at midday.
There you are, Pan Joseph. You see, I know how to serve a gentleman. Not a drop spilled.
It's not in my mind to thank you for being so careful.
Watch your tongue, Joseph.
And watch how you set down your plate. It's half off the table.
It's my soup. I'll worry about it. It fell down. My plate fell down.
Oh, don't bother us. It's your soup. You'll worry about it.
Cook, you saw what happened. It's all gone.
What do you want me to do about it?
Well, I thought maybe you could spare a little more soup.
Maybe I could, and maybe I couldn't.
But you wouldn't.
No?
I know what kind of a person you are. You wouldn't.
Now you said just a few words too many, Joseph.
Have I?
Now I wouldn't give you another spoonful of soup. Not even half of what would go in the spoon the commandant's wife uses to stir her coffee.
What do you say to that?
Hey, Joseph, where are you going?
Outside.
We understand, don't we? There are times when a man doesn't want to look at food. Hey, Joseph?
Hashem's vosaitikto, ufi agiti lasero. O Lord, open thou my lips, and my mouth shall declare thy praise. Thou sustainest the living with loving kindness. Thou supportest the falling and healest the sick. Thou loosest the bound and keepest thy faith with them that sleep in the dust.
What did you say, Joseph?
Nothing. I was talking to myself.
Stop daydreaming up there on the wagon and pile the hay. Pile it straight and flat, or else the whole load will slip off the wagon.
I'm piling it carefully. Very carefully.
Stop mumbling, Joseph. The commandant is watching. Now load the hay flat, Joseph. It's higher on one side. You want it... Hey, look out, it's falling. The hay's sliding off the wagon.
See what you've done, Joseph? It was an accident, Your Excellency.
I'm quite calm, Joseph. Not at all angry, am I?
No, Your Excellency.
I only intend to be just. While the rest of the men have their meal, you will stay and load the wagon by yourself. You understand, Joseph? Until you finish, not a bite of food.
On the Day of Atonement, the congregation fasts and prays together.
Tzadikim yiru v'yismochu.
In a Polish field, Joseph worked, fasting, and said the prayer alone.
Then shall the just see and be glad. The upright shall exult, and all wickedness shall be wholly consumed like smoke. when thou makest the dominion of arrogance to pass away from the earth.
Your food is on the table, Joseph.
I see it.
Then eat.
I won't eat that garbage.
Eat it or not, only be still about it.
I'll show you what I think of it. There's your banquet, your roast duckling and white bread.
I saw what you did, Joseph.
It's not the first time, Your Excellency.
Be still, I know. You've nothing to say, Joseph? Very well. You will observe that I'm still not angry. Take off his shirt. What are you staring at, Joseph? My whip? My riding whip? You'll have 10 lashes to teach you not to forget yourself. You hear me, Joseph? Answer me!
Oh. I hear you.
I found you in a ditch, a crawling skeleton. But I'll make a man of you yet, if you live.
If I live, I have learned how to be a man. Elohim, Elohe Avosenu.
Softly. Speak the word softly, lest men should hear.
Let our prayer come before thee. Hide not thyself from our supplication. For we are not arrogant and stiff-necked that we should say, O Lord our God, that we are righteous and have not sinned.
Softly, lest the sleepers wake. He recited the Yom Kippur confession.
May it be thy will, O Lord our God, to forgive us our sins, to pardon us our iniquities, to grant us atonement for the sin wherein we have sinned before thee, under compulsion or of free will, by hardening of the heart with utterance.
And it seemed to him that he did not pray alone, but was joined by voices long still in the cities and forests of Poland.
For the sin wherein we have sinned before thee in speech, and by wronging a neighbor, for all these, O God of forgiveness, grant us atonement. And for the sin wherein we have sinned before thee by arrogant bearing, by causeless hatred, by violence, and by terror of the heart. By causeless hatred, by violence, and by terror of the heart.
Who were the guilty? And who asked forgiveness? Joseph lay in the dark and wept.
Lord, what is man that thou regardest him, or the son of man that thou takest account of him? His days are as a shadow that passeth away.
On the Day of Atonement, Yiskor is said, the memorial service, to keep faith with them that sleep in the dust, and ask strength for those still living.
May thy loving kindness not depart from us. Help us, O God of our salvation, to live before thee in truth and uprightness during the years of our pilgrimage.
So Joseph observed Yom Kippur. In a world that begrudged him life, he refused once more to die. It is told that in the week before Yom Kippur, God looks upon the world that he created and sees what men have made of it, and his judgment finds it undeserving to exist. And then, for Joseph's sake, for the sake of those that speak in the open and those that speak softly in the hidden places, on their account, in the hour of forgiveness, God rises from the throne of judgment and sits upon the throne of mercy, and the world continues to exist.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. And now we take great pleasure in presenting Rabbi Jerome Unger, Executive Director of the American Zionist Council. Rabbi Unger.
During the solemn days of penitence, the Jewish people throughout the world gather in their synagogues for fasting and prayers, which, like the prayers of Joseph in our story of today, uttered from the innermost depths of his heart, are prayers for forgiveness and mercy, prayers of faith and of praise. For the Lord is a God of mercy and justice, abounding in loving kindness and truth, forgiving iniquity and sin, and desiring not the death of the sinner, but that he return from his path and live. Through his faith, Joseph discovered the meaning of the expression, "I shall not die, but live, that I may declare the greatness of God." In a world that begrudged him life, he refused to die. So with Joseph's people. Although 6 million of his brothers and sisters perished under the Germans, a remnant lived to assert in a renascent state of Israel their faith in the dignity of man and the fact that he is created in the image of God. For a God of mercy and justice would not have permitted the world to exist without providing comfort to Joseph, a home of his own. There are other Jews working in the same fields where Joseph did who will silently whisper his prayer. Jews trapped behind an iron curtain who must speak softly in hidden places. We pray that the God of mercy and justice will redeem them and redeem also the terror-stricken Jews of North Africa from the hand of the oppressor. It is noteworthy that Jewish prayer carries with it collective responsibility for misdeeds. The words are, "We have sinned, we have transgressed." Both the individual and the entire people are accountable. It is therefore proper that we as Americans examine ourselves critically at this time. Abroad, have we always carefully distinguished between the aggressor and his victim? Here at home, have we sinned against the individual by engaging in guilt by association or character assassination? Have we failed to exercise the virtues of pardon and forgiveness that we ask for ourselves from God? Is there any among us who has not sinned? Judaism is a religion of mercy, and we are taught that sincere penitence, prayer, and charity avert the severe decree. Let us then at this atonement season resolve to cleanse ourselves of our individual and collective sins, and to supplicate a merciful God to seal us in the book of life for happy, peaceful, and useful lives. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Unger. Our Eternal Light drama today, Hour of Forgiveness, was written by Joseph Mindell and was presented in observance of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. In today's cast were Roger de Koven, Alan Bergman, Ellen Muir, Louis Van Ruten, Guy Sorrell, Danny Ocko, and Stefan Schnabel. Your narrator was Norman Rose. The music was written by Morris Momorsky and conducted by Roy Shield. The liturgical music was sung by Cantor Robert Siegel. This is Mel Brandt speaking. This has been an NBC Radio Network production, directed by Daniel Sutter. Due to the holiday of Sukkot, the Jewish festival of the Tabernacles, and Simchas Torah, the festival of the rejoicing of the law, the Eternal Light will not be heard the next 2 Sundays. We will resume our normal schedule of broadcasting on October 16th. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This is the NBC Radio Network.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The Eternal Light.
The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's program, Season of Gladness, was written by Joseph Mindell and is presented in observance of the Sukkot season, the Jewish Festival of the Tabernacles.
Then I saw that wisdom excelleth folly, as far as light excelleth the dark. The wise man, his eyes are in his head, but the fool walketh in darkness. So it is written in the book of Ecclesiastes, and I, Reb Noah the Melamed, teacher of Torah, will most certainly not dispute the words. But I will tell you a story, so that you may judge for yourself who is wise and who walks in darkness. There was in our village a porter whose name was Shmuel, not a big man, a man with shoulders bent from the burden he carried. Sometimes, as we leaned over the books in the house of study, saying the words to ourselves as we read, for how else can one learn, sometimes we would look up to find Shmuel in the doorway, silently watching.
Look at him, standing there.
Come in, Shmuel. Come in and sit down.
Oh, no, I don't want to disturb you, Reb Noah.
You already have.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll go away.
No, pay no attention to Zavel. Come in.
Why not, Shmuel? We'll find a book for you, too.
Thank you, Zavel.
A book with large print.
I like to hear the sound of study.
You should come here more often and join us.
What are you doing, Zavel?
I know. I'm only reminding Shmuel of his obligation to study the Torah and the Talmud.
But how can I, Zavel? All day long, I carry from the village to the town, from the town to the village, all day until after dark. I have no time.
Is that what it is, Shmuel? If you only had the time, you'd be a real scholar, huh?
Oh, no. I didn't mean that at all.
Oh? Well, since you're here now, I'll give you a lesson in how to understand, how to follow the reasoning in the Talmud.
Oh, stop it, Zavel.
To teach another is a great mitzvah, Noah. Do you begrudge me a good deed?
Leave him alone.
Or are you afraid you'll lose a student? Now listen carefully, Shmuel. Let us take, for example, two burglars who enter a house by way of the chimney. Here they are in the house, one with a face dirty with soot, and the other with a clean face. Clear?
Zavel, I thank you.
Now tell me, Shmuel, which one of the two will wash? Tell me, which one?
I would say the one with the dirty face, Zavel.
You see, not so easy to be a scholar.
I'm wrong?
Listen, Shmuel. The burglar with the clean face looks at his colleague with the dirty face, and assuming his own face is also dirty, he washed it. While the one with the dirty face... Think it over a minute, Shmuel.
Yes, now I understand, Zavel. Thank you.
You understand, do you? Then please explain to me how, when two burglars enter a house by way of the chimney, only one will have a dirty face?
Well, I was trying to tell you, Zavel, I don't have a head for the Talmud.
Stop it. Stop laughing at him. Why do you let them do it, Shmuel? Why do you stand like a... Excuse me, Shmuel.
For what, Reb Noah? I said a foolish thing. Why shouldn't they laugh?
This is the kind of man Shmuel was. People often laughed, even with goodwill in their hearts, they laughed. And often, on the next day, they were sorry.
Shmuel, you angry?
Angry, Zavel?
About yesterday, the two burglars, I mean.
Oh, no, I'm not angry.
I want to talk to you. Shmuel, why don't you put down the box?
I'm taking it to Kozlitz for Rabbi Yoshke. It's 7 miles, you know. Well, for a minute, maybe.
I often wonder how you can go on day after day, a man like you, carrying such heavy loads.
You get used to it, Zavel. After a while, you get used to things. Heavy loads, being laughed at.
Shmuel, I'm sorry for what I did. Only, Shmuel, a little bit, it's your fault, too.
Shmuel,
You think so, Zabel? You may be right.
Well, you going to Kuznets? Here, take this.
What for, Ivan?
Ribbon. My old woman has taken it into her head that she must have a piece of ribbon. You'll be back before dark?
I hope so. What color, Ivan? Blue, red, yellow?
How should I know? Ribbon.
What are you laughing about, Shmuel?
Well, let it be yellow ribbon.
This is exactly why you will never amount to anything. He comes to you without so much as a please and a thank you.
Who? Ivan? It's only the way he talks. He means well.
He gives you, let me see how much. Just what I thought. Only enough to pay for the ribbon. You're doing this without charge.
But he's a poor man, a peasant who scratches a living from the earth.
That has nothing to do with it.
Besides, I'm going to Kuznets anyway with Rabyoshka's box.
That's not the point. Business is business.
And coming back, how heavy is a piece of ribbon?
It's perfectly clear to me that you'll never be anything more than just Shmuel the porter.
What else should I be?
Don't you want to work yourself up in the world? Don't you want something for yourself?
Yes. Good health for myself, for my wife Dvora, and my son Hirschel. Reb Noah says he has a brain in his head, my Hirschel. I want to be able to send him to the yeshiva to study.
I'm not talking about your son, but about you. Wouldn't you want, for example, a horse to carry those trunks and boxes?
If I had a horse.
There you are.
But right now, for myself, tomorrow night the holiday begins. Sukkot, I mean.
You don't tell me.
For myself, I want to get back from Kuznets in time to finish building my sukkah. Few more nails on this board. Just so. And then one more board. Can you reach it, Heschele? Thank you. There. It's finished. Our sukkah is finished. What do you think of it?
You ask me that every year, Papa.
Do I? Maybe it's because we build it every year.
You use the same boards, the same nails. It's always the same.
So it is. Only every time we build a sukkah, I look at it with a this year's look. You know what I mean, Heschele?
It still looks the same to me.
Never mind. Just wait till Mama spreads fresh sand on the floor and decorates the inside with fruit and green leaves. Will this be a sukkah? Well, now, let's sit down and talk about why we make a booth to live in for 7 days.
Mama said I shouldn't stay up late.
Oh, you want to go to bed?
Oh, no, Papa.
Good. Then we'll talk. You know how the Lord, blessed be his name, took the children of Israel out of slavery in the land of Egypt?
Yes, Papa.
But they didn't reach the promised land right away. Oh, no. First they had to pass through the wilderness. And what did they do there? They wandered. For 40 years, they went about from one place to another like the gypsies who passed through here last year. You remember, Heschele?
Oh, yes, Papa.
Now, how did they live in the wilderness all these years, those poor people? In booths, open to the cold rain and the hot sun. And that's why when Sukkot comes...
Basukot Teshvu Shavat Yamim.
Huh?
Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days.
That's how it's written. So that every year we will remember...
Lama'an Yedu Dorosechem, that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Egypt.
What a head for learning. Well, come, Herschel. Time to go to sleep.
Oh, do I have to, Papa?
Oh, it's late. And besides, it seems to me that I don't have to teach you about Sukkot.
Oh, I like to listen when you tell it.
Never mind me. You listen to Reb Noah.
Oh, it's different, Papa. You say things that... Oh, I don't know. I just like to listen to you.
Reb Noah is your teacher. You can learn from him. Mishnah, Gemara, so many things. And then you'll go to the yeshiva, and you'll study more. And you'll be a scholar, Hirschele. Not an ignorant man like your father.
How late are you going to keep the child up?
Oh, he's going now, Devorah. Run, Hirschele. Sleep well.
Good night, Mama, Papa.
Shmuel, you mustn't talk to him like that.
Did I say something wrong?
A father is also a teacher.
Oh, there are all kinds. And here's a Shmuel the porter. I'm getting sleepy myself, Dwarter.
You always get sleepy when I want to talk seriously.
What is there to say? Other than Shmuel, I can't be.
The way you are is the way I want you, and Herschel wants you. You don't have to apologize with every breath.
You're angry.
Because you're my husband, and Herschel is our son, and he's a fine boy.
Thank you, Dwarter. Thank you for being angry. Michelle, are you sleeping?
No, Papa.
You said the good night prayer? Of course you have. Well, will you say it again for me?
Oh, yes, Papa. Baruch Atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, hamapil chevlei shana al enov, ushmuna al afapoi.
May it be thy will, O Lord my God, and the God of my fathers, to suffer me to lie down in peace, and let me rise up again in peace.
For us in our little village, there was no peace that night. Somewhere, in some way, maybe a spark leaped through a tablecloth, or a piece of straw fell on a hot coal. Somehow, suddenly, a fire burned. The wind fanned it, blowing the flames from house to house.
Quick, Dora! Run! I'll take Lisa!
In the moonless night, the village was lit by a flickering sun that hid in clouds of smoke, and then shone forth again.
Reb Noah, are you safe?
Quickly, the houses caught, and quickly they burned themselves out. By the light of morning, we stood in the midst of the ruins of our village.
I found this in your house, Reb Noah.
His house. Who has a house now?
Oh, please, Ava. What is it, Shmuel?
The cover is burnt off, but the pages are only scorched.
Oh, a schoolbook, an old Gemara.
Stop poking in the ashes, Shmuel. There are more important things than looking for scorched books. Noah, have you decided yet?
I don't know. My house. I have to rebuild it.
Of course, but in the meantime, my brother, who's taking me in, doesn't live in a mansion, but for a few days there'll be room for you, too.
Thank you, Zavo. It is the best way, isn't it?
You, Shmuel? Do you have someone to whom you can go?
Well, Dvora's sister lives in Koznitz.
Then that's where you'll go.
No, Zavo.
Then why do you tell me about Dvora's sister?
You asked me.
I asked you where you'll... Stop kicking the ashes, Shmuel. What are you looking for?
Nails.
What's come over the man at a time like this? Nails.
These are from your house, Zavo.
From the ashes of my house.
I would like to have them, if you don't mind.
What do you want with a handful of nails burned by the fire?
Well, you see, Zavo, one wall of my sukkah is still standing, and with a few boards from what's left of my house...
You're thinking of putting up your sukkah again?
The holiday begins tonight.
You can't do it, Shmuel. You can't live in it for a week without even a roof over your head.
The sukkah never has a roof. Not a real one, I mean.
But the village is a scorched desert, a wilderness. There isn't a mouthful of food anywhere. You talk to him, Noah.
I'm afraid Zavel is right, Shmuel.
Oh, you don't have to worry about me and Dvora and Herschel. We'll be all right.
I know how you feel. But after such a fire, what can we do? Should I also rebuild my sukkah?
I don't know, Reb Noah.
You see, Shmuel?
I don't know what someone else should do. But for myself, is it sukkahs only with a roof over my head and food in my belly? Reb Noah, is that what sukkahs means?
I stood in the wilderness of ashes and ruins and searched for an answer to a question that I, Reb Noah the teacher, had never thought to ask. And Shmuel, who asked it, went to the work that was waiting.
Be careful, Hishala. The boards still have glowing embers.
When he had finished, he put down the stone that was his hammer. He stepped back to look at his work.
It's done, Hishala. What do you think of our sukkah? More berries in your pockets and not so many in your mouth.
But I'm hungry, Papa.
We'll have a fine supper. Berries and these.
Acorns?
Acorns.
Do people eat them too?
Well, we'll give them to Mama and she'll cook them. Then we'll see.
Shmuel, I want that branch of leaves up there. I can't reach it.
Well, here's another branch, Devorah, lower down.
Not this one, Shmuel, that one.
But...
Do you want a real sukkah properly decorated or not?
I'll get you that one. Yeah. Devorah, it's still not too late to go to your sister and cousins.
Did I say I wanted to go to my sister and cousins?
Everybody else has left the village.
Do you know why? Because they're afraid.
And you're not, Devorah?
About me, I'm not so sure. But about you, I know. You're not afraid. Here, you take the leaves and branches, and I'll help Herschel with the berries. Shmuel, if you stand there and look at me like that, I'll cry.
Carrying green boughs and wildflowers, they returned singing, "Rejoice and be happy in festive glee and gaily clap your hands." Shmuel brought clean sand. Dvorah spread it on the floor, and she hung the sukkah with growing things and made it a living place in the charred wilderness.
Reb Noah, you didn't go with Zabel.
Oh, I waited for you, Shmuel.
Sit down, Reb Noah. You look tired.
I waited because I... Shmuel, tell me what you know.
What do you mean?
I want to know it, too.
What do I know? How to carry a trunk on my shoulders.
Tell me how to build in ruins and sing in the midst of desolation.
What do you want me to say, Reb Noah? It's Sukkot.
Not only for you, for everybody. But you are here alone. Answer me, Shmuel.
I'm not sure what the question is. And what words do I know? What words do I have that you do not already know? Look how cleverly Dvorah hid the burned places with the leaves.
I will sit down if I may. I'm tired.
How is it written, Reb Noah? Basukos Shavat Yamim Shavu.
Teshvu, Shmuel.
Yeah.
Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days.
I used to wonder, why the booths? Why must we remember the booths? I carried boxes from the village to the town, from the town to the village, and I wonder. And then I think, it must be on account of the people. We build a sukkah so that we may remember the people who lived in the booths. When you walk on the roads all day alone, you think a lot, Reb Noah.
Yes, Shmuel.
After all, a booth of twigs and leaves open to the sky. It's very little protection against the cold and the rain and the wild animals. There must have been wild animals in the wilderness.
There were wild animals, Shmuel.
Then how could the people go on like that day by day for 40 years? You know what I think, Reb Noah? Because they had the hope of the promised land. Because they knew they had God's protection. That's why they weren't afraid.
That's why you built a sukkah on the ashes of your house.
They knew that God protects his children.
And you, Shmuel, you also feel God's protection.
Why not me, Reb Noah? God does not have stepchildren.
In the fading day that was not yet dusk, we sat under the scorched and flower-bedecked roof open to the sky, safe from the wilderness, tired and at peace. I listened for the patriarchs who, tradition says, come to join those who sit in the sukkah. And in this place, at this moment, I was not surprised to hear footsteps. But it was not Abraham or Isaac or Jacob.
Shmuel, are you in there?
Here I am, Ivan.
Ah. She liked the ribbon.
Oh, I'm glad. But you didn't have to come so far to tell me.
Well, we heard about the fire. She said she smelled smoke.
Oh, it was a big fire.
She's wrong. I didn't smell it. It's too far, I said. Even if the Kuznets burned, she couldn't smell the smoke. Could she, Shmuel?
I don't know, Ivan.
I said I would go to see with my own eyes. And she said, tell him about the ribbon.
I'm very glad she liked it.
Yeah. Then I said they'll be hungry, and she said, there's a few eggs and a cabbage and some potatoes here in the basket, Shmuel.
Thank you, Ivan. We are hungry. Will you sit with us while we eat?
In there?
In the sukkah.
And Zechariah said, it shall come to pass that every one of all the nations shall go up to worship the King and Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. As the sun went down, in the first moment of Sukkot, the festival of booths, we sat on the clean sand, and Shmuel said the words, Thou hast given us, O Lord our God, appointed times for festivals and seasons for joy, this Feast of Tabernacles, the season of our gladness. Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has kept us in life, and has preserved us, and enabled us to reach this season. I read Noah the teacher, also said the words, and they sounded in my ears as if I had learned them for the first time. For wisdom comes in its own season to every man, and I knew that hope may not be placed in the harvest, nor reliance on the frail booth, and that after the wandering in the wilderness, there is the promised land, and the words sang in me, as I said them, in this season of gladness.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York, 27 New York. And now we take great pleasure in presenting Mr. Sidney Albert of Akron, Ohio, member of the Board of Overseers of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Mr. Albert.
Shmuel, the village porter and supposed simpleton, was not really so simple or naive. Even the learned Noah, impressed by the faith and tenacity of the good-hearted, well-intentioned Shmuel, finds himself asking, tell me how to build in rooms and sing in the midst of desolation. In a way, the experience reflected in today's Sukkot program, Season of Gladness, is characteristic of the steadfast faith of our people through the ages. In the midst of ruins, persecutions, and wanderings, the Jew reasserts and reemphasizes his devotion to God and his loyalty to the eternal truths of the Torah by observing rituals and adhering to symbols which have become so meaningful in our holy days and festivals. The pilgrim festivals of which Sukkot is a part historically reminds us of the liberation of the Israelites from the slavery of Egypt. Sukkot, which means booth or tabernacle, received its name from the outdoor nature of its observance. Poetic meaning and color are given to the symbols of Sukkot during this holiday by the rabbis of old, who describe them as follows. The citron, esrog, represents the heart, the seat of understanding. That one is to serve God understandingly. The palm branch, lulav, represents the spine, the main part of the human body, indicating that one is to serve God with his whole body. The myrtle, hadas, represents the eyes, indicating that one should be careful about the things he sees and covets. The willow, araba, represents the lips, indicating that man should guard his lips and should direct his words to God even while rejoicing. Following as closely as it does in the wake of the more solemn and sobering Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, Sukkot comes as a lighter breath of joy. Recalling its symbolism, we return refreshed and uplifted to our normal pursuits and way of living.
Thank you, Mr. Albert. Our Eternal Light drama today, A Season of Gladness, was written by Joseph Mindell. It was presented in observance of the Sukkot season, the Jewish Festival of the Tabernacles. The music was written by Morris Momorsky and conducted by Roy Shield. Cantor Robert Siegel sang the liturgical introduction. Featured in the cast were Ethel Everett, Louis Sorin, Leon Janney, Roger DeKoven, David Pepper, and Norman Rose. This has been an NBC Radio Network production, directed by Daniel Sutter. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This is the NBC Radio Network.